I've got a working version of the to-do project. It still needs some improvements, but I'm very happy with it. I also finished the MERN course finally. I'll be going over both of these in this video. Welcome to this series where I show you what I am doing to try and become a web developer. My name is Craig and this is week 27. Let's dive straight in to see how much time I've spent on web development this week. The total time is 17 hours and 20 minutes, and that's broken up into 3 hours 40 for tutorials, 12 hours 10 for projects, and 1.5 hours for career. The time is down considerably this week due to having an interview for a senior data analyst position, and I'll dive into that at the end of this video. So what have I been learning? Well, as I said, I finished the MERN course. I have some mixed feelings on the MERN course. Generally, it was really good, but there are a few bits that could have been improved. First up, it is a slightly older course and uses version 5 of React, so there are a few issues if you follow along with the code. It's outdated. And I don't really see this as too much of a big deal. In fact, it may actually be a positive. It makes you learn how to problem solve and go into Stack Overflow, look for issues and solve them yourself. So just be careful if you are following along there. Secondly, it is a little bit repetitive creating all the React components. You've seen a few of them, and yes, it's good that he goes over them quite a lot, but it could have sped up the course a little bit if he was a bit quicker after doing a handful of React components. It also doesn't really show you how to deploy the site, and I find that happens a lot on these courses. They get you to build it, but they don't really show you how to deploy it as a live site. And with it being a 15-hour course, I really think that should have been included, even just showing one possible option of deploying. But yeah, a little disappointed with that there. And then the last thing is actually security. I believe that the password and username for the MongoDB is within the code, and that's really not great. Secondly, the Odin Project, and this was all to do with building the to-do project. I'm still a little bit apprehensive about the solid principles, and I guess I'm just not too comfortable with them yet, and I'll be reviewing them again next week. But I'm super happy to have a working version, and I'm actually quite happy with the UI. It's fairly simple, but I like it, and I do have it working for mobile, which is a big positive. Let's dive over to the computer and see what I have been building. I've got the two projects open that I'll be going through: the Odin Project to-do list, and then I was going to briefly show you the invoice generator. So let's start with that one. So the invoice generator is what was created from the MERN course. The UI itself isn't brilliant, it's a little bit dull. But you can create a new invoice, add in description, seller name, customer name, some items. So let's just say phone, if I could type, £700, something like that. You submit an item and then you've got a list of items. It calculates the final price, and you can write on terms and conditions. You click to create it and it sends it to the database. We'll just go back home and then show all invoices. Again, UI is okay. You got your invoice ID, description, some of the actions you can do. So you can delete the invoice, view it, go back to the invoice and update it. As I said, it was an interesting course. If I was to carry this on further, I would definitely add in a user sign-in option. So right now, if anyone was to go onto this website, they would see all invoices, no matter if they created it or not. And I think that is pretty bad. The other thing was obviously the security issue. If I was to deploy this live, it's got a username and password for my MongoDB, and that's not brilliant. But that is the invoice generator that was created. Then the to-do project, so I'm just going to refresh this. I think in 2 seconds that pop-up appears. It just says okay, this site uses local storage, you can't use it over different devices or web browsers. And I also mentioned, as I said earlier, you need to add a project before you can add a task. And I've got a shameless plug to my YouTube channel there. Once I click this, awesome, thanks for letting me know. This pop-up won't appear again unless I clear the local storage. If I do try to add a task, I get this alert, add a project before adding a task. So we can add a task. This probably needs a little bit of work, this UI. This pop-up doesn't look great, so we'll call it work, add that project, and we'll say another one called exercise. Whoops. Oh god, exercise. Cannot type. I still can't type. Exercise. There we go. So I've got these two projects now, and there's these already defined options. Home will show all the tasks if they haven't been completed. Today will show the tasks due today. This week will tasks within the next week. Completed will show tasks that have been completed, and then late tasks shows tasks that haven't been completed and are late. And then if we click on the work and exercise, it will filter based on those project names. So let's just add a few tasks. I think this card is a little bit better than the add a project one, but still maybe not brilliant. I added these like tick cross, and they've got tooltips on there. So we'll call it Gainsborough. Let's get jacked. We'll do that today. Do it now is the priority. The priority really doesn't do much. It's just for your own preference. You can add notes and then a comma separated list. So we could say chest press. I think it's best not to add a space after the comma, because I think that causes a few issues, which I need to fix. We'll just say squat, and it will go to the exercise project. Let's add that. Got these nice little colors which relate to the work and exercise project or whatever projects you have. Basically, it looks through this list of projects and it looks through this array of colors, or it creates a random color if there isn't a color already for that project. We'll just say record YouTube video. And there we go, we've got a nice different color. Got these options on the side. You can complete it, you can view the task. When you view the task, you can actually delete it, so it won't show completed, it will just delete it, or you could complete it there as well and edit it, of course. So if I was to go onto this Gainsborough one, you can see I've got chest press and squat there. I can click on them and show the complete. If I close that and then reopen it, it will still have that strike through. As I said, the strike through may have issues if there's a space before the word, so comma space, then whatever item it should be. I think that causes a few issues. Similarly, if I was to now put squat in my YouTube video, I think it should already be have a strike through, because how I've done it at the minute is it doesn't really matter what task it belongs to, as long as it's in this list of checklist items that have been completed, it will mark it as complete. So I really need to add in the name of the task along with the checklist item in this kind of check function I have. Delete the local storage. I think I've got too many local storage. I think I've got about 6 or 7. I'll just briefly bring it up. So here I've got all the local storage options. So the nav is the list of projects within your navigation, the tasks, the colors. I think this is a one I made accidentally, but I had to remove it at some point. I've just left it in. The project colors, that relates to the colors that get created per project. Current page. So every time I navigate to a new page, I store it in this local storage. So then I can refresh the page when something's happened. So if I complete an item, the page will refresh, or if I've edited an item, and so on, it will just keep refreshing. Pop-up message, that is to do with the first pop-up message. As I said, once I clicked on that button, this gets set to true, I think it is, so it will no longer pop up And the striked items is the list of items which have the strike through applied to. It is sort of mobile responsive, so once it gets to about a laptop screen size, it changes. But there's this bigger bar where you can open and close to show the main navigation. I thought that was quite nice. Generally, I'm happy with this project. It was difficult because I don't think I fully understood the solid principles, and that's something I want to work towards improving. Yes, I'll just show you an example of, so there's the work filter, there's the exercise filter. Today we've got both of them. They are ordered as well. They are ordered on due date. Let's just completely record video, and then we can see in the completed section, we can then view that or edit it. Let's edit it and we'll say completed false. Take that, and it's now gone to the home page again. As I said at the start, I had a senior data analyst interview, and I was doing quite a lot of prep for it this week, hence why my time was down quite a lot. The role itself, I would prefer if it was more technical / coding related, but it was mostly a report focused position. What was really intriguing was that I would get a graduate working below me. I think that's kind of what's selling it. I think that would be a great experience to have. I'm not entirely sure how the interview actually went. I think it went well, but I can just never really tell. I have applied for another analyst role along with a few more web developer / developer roles. I have a quick phone call with a recruiter this coming Monday to discuss whether or not I would be a good fit for this role he has. One thing I am very tempted to do, just because I'm applying for these analyst roles, I need a little bit of a refresher on SQL. I'm very tempted to make some videos about learning SQL. Let me know if you would be interested in that. It's mostly going to be myself just going through what it is, how to use it, basic kind of stuff like that. As long as one person finds it useful, I'll happily make videos on it. Next week, I'm just going to continue with the Odin Project. That will be all I'm working on really. Possibly might do a front-end meta challenge. In terms of the Odin Project, as I said, I want to review the solid principles. Even if I don't fully grasp them, I may still move on to the next section. The next section is JavaScript in the real world, and that sounds very interesting. I am going mountain biking next week, well, hopefully, so my time will most likely be down a little bit again next week. As always, I would greatly appreciate your thoughts and advice, and if you have enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button, and if you would like to see more of these videos, then please hit that subscribe button down below. I hope you have a good day, and I'll catch you later.